Ridge Park District Board of Park Commissioners. It is Thursday, May 18th, 2023 at 7 p.m. at Prospect Park, Wohlers Hall, 733 North Prospect Avenue, Park Ridge in the boardroom. Mary Ann, if you could please call the roll. Should we? Yes, let's stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Mary Ann, if you can now call the roll.
Commissioner Bundy? Commissioner Bowe? Commissioner Coyne?
Here.
Commissioner Grau?
Here.
Commissioner Holting?
Here.
Commissioner Tunnel?
Here.
Commissioner LeDuc?
Here. All right, does anyone have anything to amend, add, or delete to the current agenda? Seeing none, it's now time for Executive Director Mountcastle.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's bittersweet night for me. As we say goodbye to, not goodbye, but goodbye from the board table for Commissioner Coyne. And so I just wanted to make some comments and thank him for his service. So we're recognizing the service of our outgoing commissioner, Matt Coyne. He was first elected in 2019, and of course his term expires this evening. Recap a little bit of his many services to the board in the Park District. He was the president from 2020 to 2021. And as everybody knows, those years were, he jumped right in and did not know, as none of us did, what we were getting into during COVID. He supported the staff. He communicated regularly with myself and the residents. A lot of new, as we don't even like to go back there, but all of the regulations. He was acting as proponent and initiated, along with finance, the modeling of financial scenario planning, and that was Commissioner Coyne was very serious about that and was a big help and pushed that planning, which was a huge help to the district. Shifting in decision making, creating awareness and assurance that the financial outlook were as best as they could be during a very uncertain time. He was the intergovernmental liaison from 2021 to 2022 and the recreation liaison the year after that. He also served when he was the intergovernmental liaison. He made a gallant effort for the intergovernmental elected official meetings, and there was one held January 23rd, 2020. So that was an initiative that Matt was trying to spearhead as well, or spearheaded. He was also an advocate for joint use of our services and looked for opportunities with other governmental bodies, and one of which was the tennis courts at the high school, wanting to make sure that those were being used and that the Park District could have access, and the residents really. So other big initiatives, things that happened, the district attorney was hired while Matt was on the board. We welcomed Jerk. The affiliate agreement, it's trip down memory lane, was approved. And then who can forget the natural lawn care meetings and the new policy. So in addition to all of the regular board meetings, also the Oakton Citizen Task Force meetings, the South Park public meeting, and working on that master plan that's now in place. We also, of course, received the grant for South Park, the outdoor nature classroom groundbreaking. Some of the district's largest projects in history have happened during his term. He was part of these projects. The first was the Northeast Playground opening, and I know that park is near and dear to the Coynes, and that was in June 2019. The Woodland Park public meeting, I believe the first public meeting, we were out at the park, so he was indoctrinated quite well at that meeting. So Full Circle will be opening that park as he exits the board. Unfortunately, it's taken this long. One of the first actions actually, one of your first meetings was the decision on pickleball courts at Woodland, followed by, the Woodland Park meeting on July 18th of 2019. The Oakton Park process, of course, was the largest planning and the referendum passed, of course, this year. Main Park Outdoor Classroom, Main Park Shelter and Fireplace, Hinkley Park Osled Project, 531 Forest View purchase and renovation, which is ongoing, J.C. Tennyson basketball courts, Hinkley Community Gardens, and the Main Park Playground, which will be opening in the next year. So, you know, obviously we all have a part in this, but everybody plays an important part in the decision making. And, it does not go unnoticed, of course, by those of us in the room that your thoughtfulness and the way that give input into these projects. I hope to still see you. Of course, we will on the committee that we're assigning you to tonight. So, but very engaged board member, serving without pay for the betterment of the community. And I thank you very much for your service. And we have something for you. Would you like to give your remarks and then why don't you come up and? Do you want to give them from here? Yeah. Great. Yeah.
Thank you for all of those, well, basically for saying my speech. Saves everybody a lot of time. I just wanted to hit on a couple things that I was really proud of during my tenure here, my 4 years. One thing was that, and by the way, none of these things are things that I did. It's things that we did as a board and with staff and with public input. So I'm not taking credit for any of these things, but I do want to point out that the community gardens was an amazing project, spearheaded by Cindy Grau mainly, but it had its own stumbling points, and we were able to push that through and prove to the community that this was a worthwhile venture for the park district. Woodland Park, we already mentioned. I don't play pickleball, but it's been drummed into me that it's the fastest growing sport in the country. And we are able to, with some delay, but to deliver more pickleball courts to Park Ridge. The Oakton referendum, I will take a little credit on that because I think the Oakton referendum wouldn't have gone to referendum if I wasn't still on the board after the pandemic. And I'm not saying that I was able to sway anybody, but I was able to have that one vote that said we should give the people a choice after all the work that was put in for all those many years, that we should put it on the ballot and let the community decide whether we wanted to redo Oakton Park in the format that we did and are going to do. So a little bit of credit for that, but not a lot, because it still took the hard work of everybody on the board and staff to get that out to the voters. I'm glad that we were able to toe the line fiscally. 3 out of the 4 years I've been on the board, we did not increase the tax levy. I think that's a good thing for the people. We were able to deliver all of these things that Gail just mentioned within the budget that we had and with the tax dollars we had, and that's and when we needed more money, we went to referendum and had the people decide to do that. The pandemic, obviously, as Gail said, I was the president during the pandemic, and I really couldn't have had a better group of people around me. Around the community really couldn't have had a better group of people come together at that particular moment in time. And I mean the board, the staff, everybody that was involved. Sandra, I mean, she created a whole way of budgeting out of like thin air. Like, how do we do this? Okay, absolutely amazing. And I told her so. We all told her so. But I could not, like I said, I couldn't be more proud of those people that stood together here and tried to deliver park services to our people in the way that we could within the framework of the constraints of the state and the government. And the last thing is that it's been a true honor to serve the community. I want to thank everybody that voted for me in an uncontested election, but they voted for me nonetheless. And I hope that I was able to carry out my role here with integrity and honesty and a little bit of humor. So thank you very much.
Just open. Oh. Okay, take that back to your seat. Okay, we'll get a picture. Okay. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Sure. All right. Sorry, give me a second here. Jennifer Leduc, our outgoing president, would like to recognize you as well for your year as the president. I know you're not leaving the board, but I want to thank you for serving as president of the Board of Park Commissioners. Your term was full of excitement with the biggest initiative, Oakton referendum, passing, and before that, the leadership of the decision-making leading up to the referendum. And so that was a very stressful time for myself, the staff, and I know the board and the community. So that was a very large initiative, the largest this district has seen, since its inception. All of the capital projects, I'm not going to run through them again. Didn't all happen this year, but several of them have been, some piece of them have been happening this year. All of the special public meetings and extra resident communication that happened that people don't see when they're not the president. Not trying to scare anybody off, but some of that, it ebbs and flows, and we had it a lot sometimes and sometimes not at all. But I know everybody loves when their phone rings and I call them, so thank you for answering. Representing us at special events, you did a great job doing that, welcoming the crowd at the fireworks when I couldn't be there, Oktoberfest to name a few. As the president, we all know you are the personnel chair. So your tenure included a big time of change, of course, several key position shifts, retirements, supporting the new benefits, and being my sounding board for the new benefits and the compensation study that the board so wonderfully supported. You endured, like I said, my calls when support was needed or there were extraordinary situations, I will call them, within the program, facility, and park operations. Or just to hear me vent, which happened several times. So thank you so much for your support this year and for all of your time, extra time as the president, especially for me and with me during the 2022-2023 term. So thank you, Jennifer. Do you want to sit there or you want to come up? You want to come up? Why don't you come up? Do this first? Yeah. I don't know if she's talking, but we'll get a picture. Let me get my glasses.
Thank you. It's been my honor and pleasure.
Great. Okay. There you go. Thank you.
Can I make a quick thank you to Commissioner Coyne before we move on? I'll be quick with it. I just want to thank Commissioner Coyne for his logic and how he makes his decisions. As people might have noticed by now, I like to listen. I'm often the last person to want to speak because I really like listening to everyone before. I don't always come to meetings decided because I like to hear from other people. And so I always really appreciated Matt's logic and how he thought. And even though I think we had different ways of thinking about things, sometimes we would most of the time land on the same answer, which I think is interesting. And I think we have the same appreciation of data and kind of stepwise thinking. So I appreciate that about Matt. I also appreciated his jokes, and I'll be very sad I don't have my partner in crime and semi-poor behavior on the board. So I just wanted to thank him for just like adding depth to the decision-making process that I really appreciate, especially as a new commissioner coming into this 2 years ago. So, thank you.
All right. So now we're moving on to the swearing in and oath of office for the newly elected park commissioners. So,
I can have Commissioner Grau and Commissioner Brian, Jennifer, sorry. Why don't we do it this way? So if you guys want to follow this, I'm just giving you that so you can listen and read it. But if you want to raise your right hands and repeat after me, I state your name. Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of the State of Illinois, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the Park District Commissioner according to the best of my ability. Congratulations. She's not supposed to get any pictures of me. If you want to come over here to sign your oath of office, please. I'll take those away from you. And sign here.
I don't think I want to sign there.
Oh, sorry.
I mean,
Here, Jennifer. This is from the county. This is from the county. There you go, Brian. This is from the county.
Thanks.
And then I think they want to take pictures with the three of them, or? I got them all. You got them all? Okay. So this time we will
Round 3 for Cindy. 1, 2, and 3, right? Yeah. Offline for a minute. Yeah. Round 3.
I know.
oh, wait.
President Leduc, would you like to take a couple minutes break so that we can,
Swearing in, or I mean, then we'll do the roll call.
yes. So we're going to go ahead and take a 10-minute break.
All right, I now call back to order the regular meeting of the Park Ridge Park District Board of Commissioners. It is now approximately 7:32, and it is still Thursday, May 18th at Wohlers Hall. Mary Ann, could you call the roll of the new board?
Commissioner Bendy? Here. Commissioner Bowe? Here. Commissioner Matza?
Here.
Commissioner Grau? Here. Commissioner Hulting?
Here.
Commissioner Tunnel?
Here.
Commissioner Leduc?
Here. And before we continue, do we have any public comment on non-agenda items? Hearing none, I move to adjourn sine die for the purpose of holding the annual meeting and therefore to reconvene to the regular board meeting.
Second.
Mary Ann, could you call the roll?
Sure. Commissioner Bendy? Here. Commissioner Bowe? Here. Commissioner Matza?
Here.
Commissioner Grau? Here. Commissioner Hulting?
Here.
Commissioner Tunnel?
Here.
Commissioner Leduc?
Here. I call to order the annual meeting of the Park Board. And now I move to appoint Attorney Price to serve as temporary chairperson until a president has been elected. May I have a second? Mary Ann, please call the roll. Or call the roll call vote.
Commissioner Bendy? Commissioner Bowe? Commissioner Matza?
Yes.
Commissioner Grau?
Yes.
Commissioner Hulting?
Yes.
Commissioner Tunnel?
Yes.
Commissioner Leduc?
Yes. All right. Pretty on the nose.
This is mine until a new president is elected.
And then they have to duel you for it.
Yes, right? That would. I could turn that into a lightsaber, I would do so. All right, I will now accept nominations for the office of President of the Board of Commissioners.
I would like to nominate John Tunnel for the office for the office of president.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any other nominations? Since there are no other nominations, I declare the opportunity for nominating people to be closed. And therefore, Mr. Tunnel, you are now the President of the Board of Commissioners. What, Gail? I don't get a farewell gift. I don't.
All the comedians out of work, and we got one here tonight. I will now accept nominations for the office of Vice President.
I will nominate Cindy Grau for the office of Vice President.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any further nominations? Seeing none.
And we have congratulations, Cindy.
That's easy.
I will now accept nominations for the office of Treasurer.
I nominate Brian Matza for the office of treasurer.
Second.
Any further nominations? Congratulations. I will now accept nominations for the office of Secretary.
I nominate Rob Bowe for Office of Secretary.
Any further nominations? Or second?
Second.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I nominate Executive Director Montcastle of the Park Ridge Park District Representative of the NASR Board of Directors. Are there any further nominations? Congratulations.
Second.
Second. Yeah, second. May I have a second? Second. Congratulations again. And I would like to appoint Superintendent Armour of the Park Ridge Park District alternate representative of the MNASR Board of Directors. Are there? Thank you. Any other nominations? Congratulations.
Again.
Again. Yeah. And as far as recreation, buildings and grounds, I'd like to nominate Commissioner Bendy. Appoint for recreation, I would like to appoint Commissioner Leduc. Recreation, yes.
This is just an appointment by the president, so
I'm sorry, I'm messing up a lot of things already. I apologize. Yeah.
can you repeat it?
Yeah. For buildings and grounds, Commissioner Bendy. For recreation, Commissioner Leduc. An intergovernmental liaison, Commissioner Holteen. I move to adjourn the annual meeting and reconvene to the regular board meeting in Centennial.
Second.
We have a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I hereby reconvene to the regular board meeting. I move to approve the regular board meeting minutes of Thursday, April 20th, 2023, and Thursday, May 4th, 2023.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, may we please have a voice vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Report of the park officials. I just want to thank my fellow board members for having enough confidence. I promise I'll get it together at the next meeting. But I do appreciate the opportunity. I know I came in at a interesting time, and it touches me in my heart to work with each of you. So thank you. So I'd like to turn it over to our attorney, please, for any report.
He should sit closest. Again, he hates
Yeah, right. The only thing I have on the report is to make sure there are no questions, that everybody understands what we're doing in the next agenda item, which is the Local Government Efficiency Act Committee. We're forming that tonight, and then you have 18 months from tonight to have your 3 meetings and complete your report. But otherwise, that's it for the moment. Congratulations to our new board president, and Mary Ann, I will certainly miss you in the future meetings.
Are you attending our meetings?
Yeah. We,
For the
oh, the dissent? Probably not. No, you don't need. You don't need me at those things. As I said before, it should be a layup for the Park Ridge Park District to talk about all the work you do with other units of government and.
Great.
Yeah. So, all right, that's it.
Thank you for that report.
Marion will be here at the next meeting, so you don't have to.
And the
say
one
goodbye.
after that, and the one after that.
All right. Oh, my turn?
Yes.
Thank you. Just a few quick updates. Of course, a lot going on this time of the year at the district overall. We welcome Karen Larson officially as the superintendent of finance. First meeting, so go easier on her tonight, please. We officially sent out the RFP for the master plan and the needs assessment this week. We sent, I can't remember how many firms we ended up sending to, but around six or so. I think we sent to 9. That was close. We sent to 9 firms. So we've already heard from some of them, and those are due June 14th. So we'll keep on track with that, and we'll interview the firms. We have our distinguished agency kickoff tomorrow morning with our mentor. He's the superintendent of finance at the Arlington Heights Park District. So we're looking forward to that. We did a tour of Centennial Pool today. Everything was looking excellent. Terry's maintenance staff and April's and the pool staff really in good shape. So we're hoping for some good weather for opening weekend. And I am happy to answer any questions on the general topic, and then we can, if not, we can move on to the motion. Any questions? Great.
I move to adopt Resolution 23-3, a resolution forming a committee on local government efficiency.
Second.
Any discussion?
I have something quickly before the board discusses. We need to appoint a chair as we're approving this evening. My suggestion would be the intergovernmental liaison. And other than that, you can make that decision. So, but that needs to be part of the resolution that we pass. So that'd be Commissioner Holting.
Commissioner Holting.
Okay, everybody good? Okay, great. So that was all I had to say. Oh, does it? Oh, I am sorry. I didn't, yeah, we didn't see that. Okay. If it doesn't, then, all right.
If he can't make the meeting.
Yeah, right. So, and just a few other things about that. IAPD is putting on a webinar at the end of June, so I probably won't have a meeting before then in case. But I have a plan. We're going to split it up into 3 sections, and we'll present the committee with, we'll probably have the meetings, I'm thinking, before the regular board meetings, and we'll set them well enough in advance so the board knows because you're all on the committee. And we'll go through, a third of the section of the report, and I'll provide the information and the staff, and then the board can review it, and we'll kind of attack it that way. So we don't wait till the last 18th month. So that was it. Thank you.
Have they posted the webinar information yet?
No,
or
I
not
just
yet?
heard about it when we were down in Springfield.
Okay.
He told us the date. It was, it's the last week of June, so I'll find that out.
Yeah, I'd love a heads up because
Okay.
I'm just, since it's the first time.
Right.
Just
There's a
knowing
lot
more
of
about
questions. That was one of the biggest
expectations and stuff.
discussion
Yeah.
topics down in Springfield with
Okay.
a lot of the professionals. So.
Okay.
May we have a roll call vote, please?
Sure. Commissioner Bendy?
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe? Commissioner Matza?
Yes.
Commissioner Grau?
Yes.
Commissioner Holting?
Yes.
Commissioner Leduc?
Yes.
Commissioner Tunnel?
Yes. Thank you. Moving right along to marketing and public relations.
I think just, working on the next brochure, right, Margaret? A lot of activities, a lot going on. The marketing department this time of year as well.
Yeah, my report's on pages 14 and 15, so all kind of there, and I'm happy to answer questions if anybody has any.
So the survey about the turf just went to
It went
Did
to everybody, all residents that we have
that's
in our database,
right.
so it was about 10,000 people.
okay, and then when does that close? Or
We were discussing that we'd probably bring back the results to the board at either the June or July meeting, so we're kind of waiting to close it.
okay.
A lot of activity on it or no?
I think
When you consider that we sent it out to that many, there's about 70. But the first question does disqualify some of them. It asks them if they watched the board meeting so that they could make informed decisions on it. So
She told
that
them where to go.
disqualifies
Yeah, I know.
them to be able to send any comments or suggestions to the comments email. The first week that did go out, I did get a number of comments that came back. They were mostly about Woodland Park.
Woodland. Oh, man. Good job on the bike sale.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Margaret, for,
$1,000 mark. Margaret's a big driver in that.
yes, she is.
Thank you.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it doesn't hold the people back. They want a bike. Okay.
Thanks, Dirk.
Anything on human resources?
No, I just pointed out the staff was very, definitely did their due diligence and a lot of new advertising for employees. And you can see it, some of the local businesses displayed that we're looking for employees, a very catchy banner and graphics and just, again, hiring and onboarding a lot of people in HR right now. So.
I saw a poster in the bathroom at Harp and Fiddle.
Did it make you want to work at the Parkridge?
I was like, whoa, this is serious.
Gotta be where the people.
Exactly. You saw it, right? Thank you.
Thank you. And I get to turn over to finance.
Thanks. Got a couple things tonight, voucher list and a 2022 final audit, but I'll pass it to Superintendent Larson to start us off.
finance report starts on page 17 with the narrative and with all the other financial, can you hear me? Okay. With all the other financial documents afterwards. A few staffing issues. Lucy Louiso, our new accounting manager, started on April 24th, and she kind of hit the ground running. So, I work with her and then work with Sandra and then go back to Lucy and then go back to Sandra and then go back to Lucy. So it's still a little crazy, but Lucy's been really great about picking up things and just kind of going with it. So that transition is going really well. We also have the new IT help desk specialist starting on Monday. His name is Connor, and Eileen and Nick have a really great training plan for him. He'll also hit the ground running, starting with pools opening. So that's the staffing that's happening in our department. If you have any questions about the narrative or any documents, just let me know. I don't think I've ever seen meetings with rec and buildings and grounds to discuss first quarter financials.
I think we've always done that.
Really?
Yep, every quarter.
That's my memory.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Or maybe you didn't report it. Yeah. So just to see where the capital,
It's not just capital, it's all quarterly performance. So, we'll meet with aquatics in April and see where they are at the end of the first quarter. And then also with buildings and grounds. Yeah, it's great for me right now. We've had 2 of them so far. And so we literally go through the budget and talk about where things are and what we can expect. And yeah, it's great. Anything else? Okay, thank you.
I'll move to approve the payment vouchers in the total amount of $579,898.98. I have a second.
Second.
Any discussion about the payment vouchers?
I did ask a question, which led to another question, but I don't know if it's right to ask during the approval, because I'm okay with the payment. There was a lawyer fee, and I was like, who's that lawyer? It was with the Elm property. So is that the title clearance?
Yes.
So we're done?
Yes, I think we're done. I'm just hesitating because I don't know if we physically have received the title, but I believe we did. We'll have to check. Yeah,
Well,
but
I did you did cause me to go down a rabbit hole, which was
yes,
really
yes.
exciting. And I did find the document from the county saying we're
That
all
it's clear. Yeah.
Started that when Tom was here. right?
Yes. Right. So this was a how can I explain this the best way? A mess. It had to do with the Hinckley garage, one of the garages at Hinckley being listed as somebody else's property, correct? A different property. Yeah, the next parcel on the block. So we had to get the title. Prove that was ours. So yeah, I can't remember the whole story, but
And then part of it was the county kept wanting to charge us property.
yes, thank you. That's how we found out about it. Yeah,
We had to get that straightened out.
right.
Long time.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I meant to mention that when it got cleared.
So the moral of the story is you always learn something when you look at the invoices.
Yeah,
It's so true.
You always do.
that is true.
Any other questions? Marianne, if you could do a roll. call,
Sure.
please.
Commissioner Bowe? Commissioner Matza?
Yes.
Commissioner Grau?
Yes.
Commissioner Hulting?
Yes.
Commissioner Leduc?
Yes.
Commissioner Bendy? Yes. Commissioner Tunnel?
Yes.
Thank you. And I believe we have a presentation from about the two.
The monthly report by funds. Do we have anything there?
So that's part of if you have questions.
Any questions on the monthly report by funds?
Yep. Okay. Well, thanks. We have a audit presentation for the 2022 final audit by Jennifer Martinson. Apologize.
Yep, she'll be right here, and you all have copies of the audit at your seats.
Good evening. I'm Jennifer Martinson with Lauterbach and Amen, here to present the annual audit results for the fiscal year ended December 31st, 2022. I do want to start by specifically thanking Karen and Sandra for all of their hard work during the audit process. We're really excited to keep working with Karen, and congratulations on your new position. She is fantastic and makes sure the audit process goes smoothly. And then, of course, wish Sandra all the best. We've had such a great relationship with her over the years as well. So we appreciate all the hard work that goes into preparing for us. An audit is required to be completed by an independent auditor each fiscal cycle. And really the goal of that audit is for us as your auditors to be able to provide an opinion on the financial statements presented this evening. And we have done that. We have issued an unmodified opinion, which is a clean audit opinion. That is the highest opinion that we can issue. And it really just means that everything presented in the financial statements is materially correct. So most important news of the night, we have a clean audit opinion on the audit. On that larger report in front of you, yep, Gail, or just had, yes. So that larger report is the audit report. There's three major sections there, your introductory section, financial section, and statistical section. So I'll just touch on a few highlights from each of those sections to draw the board's attention to. On the first section, your introductory section, you'll find the transmittal letter, which is written in management's words. It's a non-financial introduction to the district as a whole, so really nice place to start the report. Also on page 7 is the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting that the district received for fiscal year 21. And we do anticipate that the district will receive that award again for the fiscal year ended that we just completed for 2022 once this report is submitted. It's a very prestigious award that speaks highly to the transparency of the audit report and the hard work that goes into preparing this report. And I do believe I did read it was the 40th year that the district has received this award. So congratulations, it's very exciting. The next section, your financial section, has what we call the MD&A, or Management's Discussion and Analysis, which starts on page 14. And I would say if you were to spend any time in this report really in depth, that section would be where I would encourage the board to spend their time. So it's a narrative summary of all of the financial information to follow. It really takes this over 100-page report and summarizes it nicely in about 10 pages. So really easy to follow. Again, narrative of all those financials. So you'll be able to see all of the key highlights that have happened for the year, changes from last year to this year. So really, again, if you read those 10 pages, you'll have a full understanding of this entire document, which I know can be seem rather large right away. Just to touch on some of those highlights for the board this evening. Overall, the general fund did see just a slight decrease in fund balance for the year of $29,000, but that was after a rather large transfer to fund capital projects. So really good there still with ending fund balance of approximately $3 million. Also, the recreation fund did see an increase in fund balance this year of $549,000 with ending fund balance of $3.7 million. And then capital projects with those transferred did have ending fund balance as well of $2.2 million for the year. Finally, that last section I mentioned is your statistical section, and that's going to start on page 76. This is a really cool piece of the audit report. Probably don't hear cool when we're talking about the audit very often, but this is 10 years of trend information in that section. So a really cool place to see 10 years of historical information for the district for a variety of topics. So major revenues, expenditures, fund balances, property taxes. So again, 10 years of that historical information all in one place. So a really nice section to spend your time as well. Finally, I would be required to communicate to the board this evening if we had any difficulties during the audit, disagreements with management, anything of that nature, and I'm happy to report that we did not have anything this evening. You will see that smaller report in front of you, and I will emphasize small. This is our management letter with any recommendations for the board. And so really just an awareness for the board that there is another GASB, or Government Accounting Standards Board statement, that is coming up and required to be implemented for next year related to subscription-based IT arrangements. So we will work very closely with Karen to make sure that gets implemented properly in the report. And then also just letting you know that recommendation we did discuss last year, which again was related to another standard that had to be implemented. We did work with them this year, and there was no material impact to the financials, so that will be removed going forward. So overall, clean audit opinion, as we mentioned, very thankful for the hard work of finance staff, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Yeah.
2 questions. The last 2 changes that you said we're going to have to do, are those federal then? Do they come from the federal?
It's from the Government Accounting Standards Board. So
Okay.
they mandate the reporting for
So that's federal. Interesting.
governments.
And what percentage do you think of organizations maybe that you've worked with or others that get this excellence in financial reporting?
That is a great question. I could definitely get back to you with like a more specific number, but I would say, especially in the Park District world, it's not a very high number for Illinois. I think I don't want to say a number that I'm not.
But it's
totally
not. It's
sure.
not always.
No, no, not at all. It is a very prestigious award for the district to receive. Yes,
Great.
especially for 40 years. I was amazed to see that.
Yay. No pressure, Karen. Get a cookie. And then I think at our last board meeting or a couple board meetings ago, we talked about making sure we had a different team do our audit.
Yes.
And are you a new team or will you
Yes,
just
so
be the,
I
okay.
am a new partner this year overseeing the audit, and then this is Hannah's first year taking the lead on the audit. She was here
Welcome.
this evening as well.
I don't think I saw you before, but I don't remember everything. So
You only see us once a year, so.
Right. Right. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Any other questions, comments?
I just have a small comment, and it's not necessarily for you. Like, I'd love to spend more time with this report ahead of the meeting next year, and if it was prepared, it'd be awesome to get it the Friday before instead of a Monday afternoon. My packet reading happens at 9 and 9:30 at night after my kids go to bed, and so there's just not a lot of time for me to absorb. And so if there are ever any longer documents that go to the board that happen to be ready, before the weekend before, I would be very appreciative as a working mother with limited amounts of time. So small. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Thank you. Thank you too.
Any other comments?
I was telling John just to open it up, and anything you read is interesting, I think. It is. You don't have to read the whole thing, but
I don't hear that very often. So
well, maybe I hit the right
Yeah.
pages, but thank you for saying what to look at. It's interesting.
Yeah,
So.
that transmittal letter in the beginning is really interesting, I think, for the board, just overall for the district. And then again, that management's discussion and analysis will really give you what you need to know in kind of summarized form for this. So,
I'm going to echo Commissioner Grau's comment about those 10 pages. They really helped a lot. I know everything else gives more background, but that's the snapshot we need to see as the board. Then, as Commissioner Holting said, we got to get through 120 pages.
yeah.
So we appreciate that being pointed out. So thank you. Anyone else? No? Well, thank you very much.
Yes, and congratulations to the new president as well.
All right. I move to accept the audited 2022 comprehensive annual financial report of the Park Ridge Park District as presented. Can I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion or comments? No? Mary Ann, you want to do a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Matza,
Yes.
Commissioner Grau,
Yes.
Commissioner Holting,
Yes.
Commissioner Leduc,
Yes.
Commissioner Bendy, Commissioner Bowe,
Yes.
Commissioner Tunnel.
Yes.
Thank you. And I believe I will be passing it to Commissioner Leduc for recreation.
And I will pass it to Superintendent Armour.
Thank you. The recreation report begins on page 29. I'll give just a few highlights. It's definitely hard to think back to April with this warm weather and upcoming summer, but there were many exciting Easter and Bunny events offered for all ages, youth, and our active adults as well. The Earth Day was a great success despite moving indoors due to inclement weather. I wanted to point out in the athletics section that our pickleball classes for this spring rolled out and have currently 65 participants past month. And the Nature Center programs are near pre-COVID participation levels also, so that was great to see. Well, we did not have the ice show this spring, but it did allow for additional programming in the space. So I don't know if you noticed the numbers jump there, and that's why. So you'll see the opposite in December when we have the exhibition in the winter. The driving range opened last month, but started out with rainy weather, but now it's really very busy on these nice days. We continue to see new members at the Activities Center, and their expo was a great success. And Eileen, our new recreation supervisor at the Activities Center, is settling in nicely and has been a great addition to the team. I also noted that Martha, our membership services supervisor at the fitness center, left for a new position. We have completed interviews and hope to have that position filled soon. The pool pass sales information is on page 37. We continue to see those numbers increase throughout this month. And the weather, fingers crossed, the predictions are looking very warm for next weekend. So we anticipate this next week is going to be very busy with pool pass sales upcoming to Memorial Day. And otherwise, we had our summer registration on Monday and already working on planning for the autumn activities in the meantime. And staff continues to prepare for all of the summer activities. I'd be happy to answer any other questions about the report.
I actually have a question. When I was looking at the athletic participants for the month of April, initially I was a little surprised at the precipitous drop off for all-star sports, but then when I noticed like J Dreams basketball, is this just a result of other contractors picking up some of the classes that All-Star used to do?
Yeah, so if you notice, right under J Dreams, the Hot Shot Sports, they've offered a lot more than the All-Star Sports have, and have been very flexible with what we've actually wanted to offer and different times. So All-Star Sports had really specific times and things that they wanted to do. So and we look for a new contractor, and they've been very successful so far.
Oh, great. Yeah, I felt a lot better when I saw that the overall total participation had gone up. But when I first saw the number for All-Star, I was like, wait a minute, what happened here? So thank you for that explanation. And then, how are things chugging along with finding extra space and teachers for Beyond the Bell? Because I noticed that at some schools, it's not terrible in terms of waiting lists, but others, it's a little more grim.
Yes, there hasn't been, we have the space. There hasn't been too much movement as far as the wait lists go. A few reasons. We're really trying to concentrate on camp hiring right now, but also I did have the report from the staff that there were 13 new hires just last week for Beyond the Bell also.
Oh, great.
However, we had more than that say they weren't returning in the fall. So, it's this balancing act right now of trying to find staff. So we do have extra space at 3 of the 5 schools. So still just working on hiring and doing that simultaneously with the camp hiring also. But I was very happy to hear the 13 hired just recently. So I know they're still working on both.
Maybe we'll get lucky and some of the camp hires will decide that they love it and want to stick around and do Beyond the Bell.
We're asking almost every hire about our Awesome August camp, as well as before and after care, so that those are, and Beyond the Bell, if they're interested in that.
Any other commissioners have any questions? Commissioner McGrath?
I have a question. What is our video on demand platform?
So we're working behind the scenes right now for our all access members to be able to access videos when they're off site. So if you're on vacation, or it would be just an extra added something that you can access while you're off site. So that would be just for all access and platinum members.
Right.
So video, they're working on all of the behind the scenes information and doing the videos with our current instructors. So it would be our instructors that participants can access.
Every class.
No, not every class.
I was going to be,
No. So it would be, hey, I'm out of town. I want to see this instructor. I'll just, pull it up. So it's not live stream. It would be, you can pull up a video.
Oh, so they'll pre-make a video.
That's what they're working on.
Okay, so it would not be different week to week. It would be the same video probably.
Yes, potentially, but they plan on adding more and more to
Nice.
the portfolio.
Nice, that's great.
Yes.
I hate when I miss my classes when I'm out of town.
And then the pass printing days, does that mean another, for the pool passes? Is that another day when people can come in and buy them? Or
You can, but it's also just, we added extra times at Main Park and at the activity center. So it's just trying to focus on getting people through their passes so they're not going in between when people are trying to register for other programs. So just come in and print out your pass. We did that last year and it was very successful and helped bring down the lines at other facilities
Great.
and, the days leading up.
Yeah,
So they had quite a few people come in, I think,
That's
this
good.
weekend.
so you're just trying to channel them to a certain time.
Mhm.
That's great. Yeah, and then I read Peggy Nober Museum. It's the Notabart. You just
Said a typo. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right. I didn't know. I'm like, well, it's probably a typo. It's a cool place.
Yes. Yeah, they had a great time.
Good. Good stuff.
I want to thank you for getting back to the resident who reached out about the camp aftercare wait lists. I think, I'm sorry if I missed this. I know you got back to Claire as an individual, but I think there was plans to give like a broader update to the other parents who had signed up for camp. Like, has that happened yet? Or
No, the goal for that was by the end of this week.
okay,
Okay. Due to unforeseen circumstances with one of our managers, it might be slightly delayed, but we're still trying to make that happen by the end of the day tomorrow.
because there are folks home from college now and people looking for nanny jobs, and I know a lot of parents are like, okay, am I going to get the aftercare or do I need to get a nanny so people are like in prime decision making mode for figuring out summer care. So
We're hoping by tomorrow.
Okay.
And there's actually been a lot of movement and wait lists.
yeah,
Last week, there was over 300
awesome.
spots that were opened. And then I haven't gotten the final count
Okay.
on this week.
Thank you for being responsive on that. And my other question is, when we shifted to like a new like curricula or program for swim lessons, was that in the fall when we shifted, or was it last?
In the winter,
Okay.
so the start of the year.
Has there been any feedback from folks about like
There was
positive,
yeah.
negative, constructive on like?
It's been very positive once people have actually figured out, which level equates to the new level
Okay.
in this program. But it's been very positive.
Okay. All right. And that's been from like instructors or parents or both?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot more access for training tutorials and things for the staff to look up on their own.
Okay.
If they want to, access something really quickly if a parent asks about something. So they have more tools just as an instructor versus waiting to talk to a manager.
Okay.
So it's been great for the
Okay.
instructors as well.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Well, if that's it, I'll pass it on to Commissioner Bendy for Buildings and Grounds.
Thank you. All right, Buildings and Grounds, Superintendent Wolf, you're up.
Thank you. My report starts on page 39. As you can see, we've shifted the format again a little bit more, but obviously we have a lot going on with various different projects. I do want to highlight, as we kind of talked about a little bit, that we're still kind of working through some discussions and ideas on the turf. We're going to be looking to go out and visit a few fields, the Schaumburg field specifically. We've been in contact with Schaumburg, since they have a field very similar to the one that's trending on our on the surveys, so that we can actually see it and have the rec staff talk to their programming staff and rec staff, and my maintenance staff talk to the maintenance staff. So we're going to do that, as well as go visit Woodridge, which has one that's crumb rubber topped with a cool play, which was another one that's the two top things that we're hearing. So we're going to continue down that path and make sure that we've really dug in and looked at all the different aspects of that. And we will be back to the board as mentioned earlier, at either the June or July meeting is our anticipation at this time. Woodland Park is moving along. It's going to be a nail biter, but it's moving and getting there. The asphalt pathways were paved today, so they've been working diligently at that. They did put down the first layer of the acrylic and did their water testing the other day, which is where they put down water on a 7-degree day, wait for 30 minutes, see how much water is in certain spaces. It can't be any thicker than a nickel. If it is, they mark it, then they've got to come. So they're working through that process, and they've still committed that with the weather that we're seeing and where they're at, they should have everything buttoned up there by Memorial Day weekend. So it's going to be a very busy week next week. But as of right now, I'm still hearing that we should be ready. The fence is scheduled to come down on Friday afternoon, the 26th next week. So we're going to do a picture on this.
Yeah, we decided because of the timing, we don't want to hold the opening. We don't want to hold the opening of the park just for the photo op. And so without knowing exactly when that was going to be, and it's Memorial Day weekend, we decided we'll do the photo. We're going to do it before the next board meeting was the most popular. And I apologize to Commissioner Matza that was the most popular time for the rest of the commissioners for the ribbon cutting. So, okay, thanks.
So anyway, we're very excited about that, but we're going to be very busy working on that. So I do also want to highlight that we've also been busy with hiring. We do have a written offer accepted now for our custodial position at Main Park. A gentleman, Tommy Polaskinese, I can't say his last name. We're gonna have to shorten it to Tommy Polo or something, I think. And then we do have a part-time sustainability coordinator, Lauren Blackburn. She is actually a wellness coordinator currently for Paderma, and has a background in wellness, but also is very passionate about sustainability and the environment. So we're very excited to have her. We think she's going to be a great addition. So she's starting both of them are actually starting on the Tuesday after Memorial Day. So we're very excited about both of those additions to the team. And I think with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Does anyone have any questions?
I like the new format, so thanks for
Good.
that. So all the fences will be down, and anybody, if weather holds up, then Memorial Day people will be able to stroll through that.
Once that fence comes down, the park's open. So that's the goal for us right now is to make sure that when that fence comes down, which it is currently scheduled to happen on Friday afternoon next week, that everything that's currently within that fence is ready for people to interact with. A lot of the areas there around the pathways will be freshly seeded, but they'll see that it'll have been freshly seeded, and it'll be covered with like the mulch, mat stuff and things like that. So they'll see that, and hopefully they'll be conscious of that. There'll be plenty of pathways for people to interact with. It'll be an easy walk to get to the pickleball and all the other amenities there. But yeah, it'll be open and ready for people to interact with as soon as that fence comes down. So
sounds great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I was looking at the vandalism report. So is the main Hinckley restroom back running again? Okay.
yeah, it is.
And how many porta potties do we have there?
At Main Park?
Yeah, at Hinckley.
Sorry, at Hinckley?
Hinckley,
Yeah, I think we have one or two.
Okay.
I know we have, I think we might, I'm not sure. It's
Yeah.
one or two, though. We
Okay.
have them over by Hinckley Field 3 and near the tennis courts.
So there's always a toilet there for them?
There's always some there, yeah.
Okay.
In addition to the ones by the,
Okay.
and it, I mean, we have, it's a constant, like our, and it's not even,
Yeah.
it's, I think it's just its location and its proximity to where we have a younger teenage population,
Yeah.
interacting with our park system, because we have our park ambassadors, and there's not, it's very infrequent that they're telling me that they had to remind the kids that these are meant for one person at a time, and this is not a gathering space, and don't be hanging out in there, and things like that. And it, inevitably there's toilet paper strewn about or whatever. So then they have to clean it up, and then, you know, it's a pretty regular occurrence over there. So not always enough to make it onto here, but just enough to.
You know, in Europe, do they have those ones where you have to put a coin to get in?
It's a worthy idea. I mean,
Make them put some money.
Yeah.
And if it's nice when they come out, they get the money back.
yeah, it's an interesting idea for sure.
Tell us about, any other questions? Are you going to tell us about the Northeast Tennis Court now, huh? Right.
I think we need a motion first.
You want a motion first? Okay. I move to approve Sport Surface Pros LLC as the lowest responsible bidder in the bid amount of $85,000, which is inclusive of $20,000 in allowances for unforeseen issues, plus alternative number 1 in the amount of $18,000 and alternative 2 in the amount of $9,000 for a total amount of $112,000, and to authorize the executive director to execute and deliver such agreement. Can I have a second? Thank you. All right. Any discussion?
Yeah, so board memo on page 42. As I was saying to our team the other day, this is the yin to the yang of the JC Park tennis courts. So sometimes you get into a court renovation project and it's worse than you expected underneath, and we had to go further and do more, and we ended up with a full depth renovation. In this situation, we were expecting to have to do more, and they did some looking and some studying and said, oh, you know what, this is actually in pretty good shape. And so it's not as bad. So I know in the long run, I guess it works itself out. But so we're very happy, obviously, that we'll be able to complete this in a good fashion, well within budget. Time frame's not 100% known still. We'll be coordinating that closely with April and her team once we start to hear from them on what, if any, impacts they may have to any programs at that time of the year, July or August. But just the fact that we found someone that is a different company than the one that we're using currently at Woodland, that's in the area, that's willing to work, we're excited about that, and that they've got history too. So might get this actually done this year.
So if all goes well, it's 92,000 under budget, or is that what I saw? Or no?
Yeah, actually, if all goes well, it'll be
More?
112,000 under budget, because I
112?
will return that $20,000 worth of
Oh.
allowance as a change order at the end of the
Okay.
So that's like
That's a lot.
it's kind of like a built-in change order, so that if I have things that come up, I've got money to work with on the fly with them. But that comes back as a change order if it's not needed. So
Okay. Fingers crossed.
yeah. So
You got something?
yes.
How often do we have only one bidder?
It happens from time to time. It's not super often, but it does happen from time to time. And they did work at the references, I believe, was Glenview, Skokie, like local area park districts, and their references checked out well. So they're places and park districts that I'm familiar with.
We just
people
don't know
there,
the
so.
price, if that's a good price or not.
We don't, but it's considering that it's well within our budget and the estimates that we had for this project. I think we're all very comfortable with that. We had actually heard coming into the bid opening that we were anticipating that we were going to have 2 bidders, and only one showed up. So
Is that more expensive? Any other questions? All right, should we take a roll call?
Sure.
Thank you.
Commissioner Grau,
Yes.
Commissioner Hulting,
Yes.
Commissioner Tunnel,
Yes.
Commissioner Bendy,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe, Commissioner Matza,
Yes.
sorry, and Commissioner Leduc.
Yes.
I went a little bit backwards there, sorry.
All right, Okay, policy, Commissioner Halting, yeah? No, you? Oh, policy, oh, Cindy, okay, sorry.
Unless there's something I don't know of. Not yet.
Congratulations.
Okay, it's time for intergovernmental, which is Commissioner Holting.
Nothing yet.
Come on, Holton, get on that.
I don't know. People are going to have to email me back now when I email them. So,
Any communications and correspondence? Any new business? Okay. This is exciting. I move to adjourn to closed session for the purpose to discuss land acquisition per 2C5. We will reconvene to open session to take action, if any, on the item discussed in closed session. Any discussion? Hearing none, may we have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Grau?
Yes.
Commissioner Hulting?
yes.
Commissioner Leduc?
Yes.
Commissioner Bendy?
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe? Commissioner Matza?
Yes.
Commissioner Tunnel?
Yes. I'd like to reconvene the regular park board meeting. The time is now 9:12. Is there any further things that anybody? I move to join the meeting of the Board of Park Commissioners. Any opposed? Let's go.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?